We're live. We are live. Just fixing this light. Um, Hello, Anyang. Ciao, hola, everybody. It is day 15, I think, of the World Cup, and it's June 25th. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Elle. I'm the host of the Speaking Tongues podcast, where we talk about language and culture from all over the world. And this is why we're talking about World Cup, because it is the ultimate international event, um, as far as I'm concerned. And we're getting to the end of the group stage. As I said a few days ago, this is where the heartbreak happens. Um, this is where the joy happens too, but this is where the heartbreak happens for a few nations, for a few teams. I am crooked here. Let's see. Let's just keep it this way. So we're at the stage of the group stage where we have 2 games at a time. And it hasn't always been like that, but it's been like that since at least the 80s. And there's a reason for that, which I think I said yesterday is to prevent things like match fixing or teams kind of, throwing a match in order for another team to get through. And so they play them all the final group games all at once. But this is where things are getting really hectic because we've got 12 teams in the third place slot, and only 8 of them are going to advance. So this is going to get exceptionally chaotic. I think I said yesterday that I'm having such a hard time following how teams are going to go through, and there's so many different variables. I saw somebody break down how Scotland would get through, and I think Scotland, I have my little cheat sheet here. Scotland is in third place in Group C. So there are some things they're depending on some other teams to win or lose or draw in order for them to get through. But I'll get through that in a minute. Let me show you this really cool thing. So my mom got me this from the supermarket, and I thought it was so cute because my mom will call me and she'll say, "Oh, I see this thing that you're interested in. This thing I know that you like, and I want to get it for you." So my mom got me this really cool FIFA 2026. You can see here it says FIFA World Cup 26. This little mug she got from the supermarket. So this is my water vessel for this live. And it's the first time that I'm drinking out of it. So that's really cool. And thanks, Mom. I love it. And I needed a new mug anyway because one of my mugs broke. So now I have a commemorative mug from the World Cup. And I'm drinking out of it. Maybe I should have saved it for posterity, but no, we got to use our things. So I just wanted to show you that real quick because I just thought it was so cute that my mom thought of me when she was in the store and she was shopping. So I've really been enjoying seeing all of the joy that people are expressing during the World Cup, and so much cultural exchange has been coming out of this. And I know there were a lot of concerns leading up to the World Cup, especially in the United States. I mean, we saw how the Iranian national team is not allowed to stay in the United States in between their games. So they've been shuttling back and forth between Mexico and the United States, Southern California, I believe, which is not cool. And there's a lot of really devastating and sad and frankly disgusting things going on with the way that visas have been processed and people have been not allowed to enter the country. I think we heard about the referee from Somalia who was not allowed to come in, even though FIFA had hired him. He was not allowed to enter the United States. Had his paperwork, revoked, which to me is not the spirit of an event like this. And this is probably the third World Cup in a row that has not been without controversy. Um, FIFA and the government, and there's a lot of moving parts on that side that we don't really support. As of the fans who are in the US, are in Mexico, are in Canada, who have come to see their teams play, and even people who are not from other parts of the world who are supporting the teams that are playing in the World Cup, have been sharing so much joy and so much cross-cultural connection. I think it's just exactly what humanity needs right now, and seeing a lot of that. I know here in New York, we're seeing a lot of that in person. I was on the train a couple of days ago, and a couple of guys in kilts and the Scottish kit got on the train, and I was just trying not to stare at them. Um, but I thought it was really cool. I mean, this is New York City. I've seen men wear kilts before in New York, but knowing that, Scotland has made themselves known, and they've made themselves, they're very vocal and very proud and very happy to share their Scottish culture here in the US. Um, has just been amazing. And, walking down the street and seeing groups of people in a Sweden kit or Turkey or Brazil, Haiti, it's really been just such a beautiful thing that I think that a lot of us really needed to see and understand. I think people really want connection. I think people really want to connect with other cultures. And a lot of times the narrative in the media and the public, and sometimes the governments um, make it seem like we are our humanity doesn't want that. And I think World Cup has shown that we do want that. A lot of us really, really want that and need that. It feels like this is something we've needed for such a long time, to connect with people from all over the world. So it's been beautiful seeing it in person. One that I love, and I haven't seen this in person, just online, but seeing the Ireland fans. Ireland did not qualify for the cup, but seeing them flip their flag over. And when you do that, you have the flag of Cote d'Ivoire. And they have been so supportive. I've seen it on, TikTok, on Instagram, and Threads. Um, Pubs in Ireland are uh, they are supporting. They've got the kits on of Cote d'Ivoire, and they're really supporting this team, and that's been so cool. That's been so fun. I actually saw a musician playing Premier Gao, which is one of the most famous Ivorian songs, pop songs, you know, ever. Playing it in an Irish folk style, and it's like this is what this tournament is all about to me. This is what it's about to me. And when people say football is life, I think it's so much more than just the game itself, because football tells us so much politically. It tells us about so much socially. It tells us there's so much history encoded in there and language encoded in there. Um, and I couldn't really help but to think that this would have been, again, I should have mentioned this. I have notes that I have to keep for myself so that I don't get off on a tangent. And I was just looking at my list, but I think that this is something that's so aligned with what I do with my podcast, with my platform, and what I hope to do and hope to continue to do with my podcast and my platform is just celebrate our humanity, celebrate our cultures, celebrate linguistic and cultural diversity. And seeing so much of it in the World Cup, and seeing so many people really respond to this linguistic and cultural diversity and want to experience more of it. And especially people who are following the World Cup for the first time, and didn't realize how fast and furious and joyful and hopeful and all encompassing it is, has been very, very special. I couldn't really help but think how if I had only started a few years ago, I could have made some connections. I could have been at the World Cup, maybe working with some brands or something like that, because this is exactly the ethos of my show, minus the sports aspect. I can always talk about soccer, but mainly, you know, everything that a tournament like World Cup and everything that soccer, football kind of means to us all over the world. Um, all of that is encoded in Speaking Tongues podcast, in Speaking Tongues platform, and what I hope to do in the future with the show as well. So, we're all about celebration and linguistic diversity and the human stories, the human stories that come out of events like this. I think are just amazing, and they are worth telling and retelling and sharing. And I'm actually thinking that I'm going to start collecting the stories that I see. Maybe I'll put it up on my Substack page, maybe at the end of the tournament, because I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. And I feel like I'm going to need a recap that's going to um, let me relive this tournament, because this 6 weeks of World Cup, every year that I've experienced it since 1998, has been the best 6 weeks ever. Um, so I definitely want to do a roundup of that on my Substack. If you come across any interesting stories, maybe in your part of the world or in your part of the country, if you're in the US and Canada, Mexico, anywhere you are, feel free to send them along, because I do want to make this compilation, because I'm not ready to let it. I'm not ready to say goodbye. I'm not ready to end this World Cup. How dare it end um, when it's brought so much happiness into so many of our lives? So, if you have any interesting stories, anything you've come across, or even anything that you've personally experienced, please let me know, because I want to put it in my Substack. And maybe I'll put out a reminder in another live, or maybe even um, on social media somewhere, because I need to do a compilation of all these cool stories. Um, I was thinking earlier that there are 3 words, and actually, I'm not going to take credit for this, because I saw somebody post something similar to this, and it got me thinking. I saw this on Threads. I'm spending a lot of time on Threads. I'm usually on Twitter during the World Cup, but Twitter has become rather toxic. But so I'm on Threads, and if you're on Threads, please feel free to follow me, because that's all I've been talking about is World Cup since the 11th of June. But I saw somebody post something to the effect of World Cup is joy, it is heartbreak, and it is hope. And I don't think heartbreak was the word that this person used. That's my contribution to this. But just thinking of those 3 emotions, those 3 feelings, it really captures so much of what I feel during this tournament and what I've always felt during this tournament. And I'm sure a lot of people can, um, feel the same way. I'm sure a lot of people watching the tournament and who have watched it over the years feel the same way. Um, and those are my 3 words that come to mind um, when I think about World Cup, because especially, I said in the beginning, the first round is all joy. It's all joy to watch your team get out there and show us what they can do. And then the second round is when you're hopeful. You're hopeful that your team is gonna continue to play well and or improve. And then this is the part where we're in the heartbreak phase. And this is when we have to start saying goodbye to some teams who are not going to advance. And then when we get into the knockout stages, it's pretty much all heartbreak for a lot of us. But there's a lot of joy in there too. And I think we go into each game with hope, depending on who we are, who we want to see advance and who we want to see win. But tell me, this is my question of the live. This is my question of the day. What are your 3 words that you would use to describe World Cup and how you feel about the tournament, or how the tournament makes you feel, or 3 words that you feel describe World Cup the best? Let me know in the comments if you're watching live, or let me know in the comments if you're watching a replay, because I want this to be a dialogue. I want us to really talk about this tournament and what's going on and what it means to all of us. And speaking of heartbreak, like I said, we are saying goodbye to a lot of teams so far. We have said goodbye to Czechia. I got my index card cheat sheet here. Czechia, Qatar, Haiti, Tunisia, Jordan, Panama, and as of today, this is a hard one. We're saying goodbye to Curacao. And 2026 hugs to Curacao. I hope that all Curaçaoans and everybody who was supporting Curacao and behind them 100%. I really hope that you're proud of your team. I hope they made you proud. I hope they made Curacao so proud. I'm proud of them. I am not. I have no, connection to Curacao, but I'm proud of them. And that was a hard game because Ivory Coast is my team. Côte d'Ivoire is my team. I won't say that they are my team, that I'm like they're going to win it all, but I've always gone for Côte d'Ivoire, especially when it comes to the context of African football. That's always been my team. And so something that I always say is, like, every World Cup has a heartbreak game. And this game was my heartbreak game, because it's like I could have seen either team win, and I know what it would have meant for Curacao to win that game, to win that match. And at the same time, I wanted to see Côte d'Ivoire do well. And so it's the heartbreak game. And I know it's just the first. I know there will be others, because it's tough. It's really tough, and it's the draw. It's just how it works out. So that was a really tough match to watch. I've got my Côte d'Ivoire shirt on that we cannot see, but it's Côte d'Ivoire here, and these are my elephants. Allez les éléphants. And this is not a team affiliated shirt. This is a shirt that I got in Côte d'Ivoire in 1994. It still fits me, and it's my favorite shirt. So, but hugs to Curacao, and that was hard. I think for me, that was the hardest goodbye so far of this tournament. And that game ended. Côte d'Ivoire had 2 goals. Curacao did not score. At the same time, Germany was playing Ecuador, which was so cool, because I didn't watch that game, but I did see the goals, because I'm watching on Peacock, so they do a split screen when the other team scores. And that game was Ecuador scored 2 goals to Germany's 1 goal. And this is the first time that Germany has lost in the group stage to a South American team. So I want to give a round of applause to Ecuador. I know that Ecuadorians and their supporters are so happy, because Germany, again, is a how many times have they won the World Cup? 4 times. Germany's a powerhouse, is one of those powerhouse teams that people just automatically expect them to go through, and they automatically expect them to win. So Ecuador scoring these goals, fantastic match for them, and they're going through. And as of now, they're going through. I don't know what place they're in. I think they're in third place. So we'll see. The last I saw, they were at the top of the third place chart, but we'll see how the rest of the games go forward. And then the games that just ended, we had Netherlands played Tunisia. The first goal for the Netherlands was an own goal, but that game ended 3 goals to Netherlands, 1 goal Tunisia. And then Sweden played Japan, and that was a 1-1 draw. So right now, Group F, that is Netherlands with 7 points, Japan with 5 points, and Sweden with 4 points. Tunisia was already out at that point in time. So congratulations to Côte d'Ivoire. I feel like I heard someone say this is the first time that they've advanced to the knockout stage. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm so excited for them. And I've been wanting their kit since AFCON. I think I said this before. I've wanted their kit since AFCON, like 2023. And I don't have any money, but I think I'm going to get it. I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but I saw it's back in stock. It's not money I need to spend right now, but I'm really, really thinking about it. Because it's been years that I've wanted one, and now I'm like, this is the time to do it. Should I get it? Leave me a comment. Let me know. Should I be responsible or not? Let me know what you think. And that's really it. That's really all I've got for today. I'm running a little long. I try to keep these less than 20 minutes. But I really just wanted to talk about the joy behind the World Cup so far. I'm really feeling it. I'm really so inspired, and I'm so excited, elated. I'm happy to see that there's so much cultural exchange going on, and I'm learning a ton of Spanish, listening to Spanish football all day long for like 15 days, which is crazy. It's the ultimate immersion. Language, Spanish language immersion is listening to football on Telemundo on Peacock in Spanish all day long. It's awesome. It's amazing. The chaos continues. We've got a game tonight. We have 2 games tonight. It's 9:30 where I am right now. Group D is playing tonight. That is Turkey versus the USA and Paraguay versus Australia at the same time. So we'll see how that match goes and how it affects the third place rankings and teams that are going to move forward. And I guess we'll talk about that the next time. So again, let me know your 3 words, how you feel about World Cup. Let me know if you think I should buy the Côte d'Ivoire jersey now that it's restocked on Puma. Any other thoughts that you have, or any other things that you want to discuss, you want to talk about, leave me a comment. Let me know. I will be back tomorrow, and we can talk about it again. We can do this all again tomorrow. So this has been really cool, really fun. I'm going to get ready to go watch the last 2 games of the night. I hope that you take care of yourselves. Have a good time watching the last 2 games. If you have any predictions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me know. And we'll reconvene tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 16.